Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? It's the Man United agenda back again. I've completely forgotten. I've got to press the intro button. Well, smooth as ice. Well, as always, I'm joined by Mr. B and Amonde Juma. Mr. B, how are you? How was the weekend?
My weekend was great, apart from Man United. But I said I can't control them. I can control my Saturday team. We're through to the next round after a 16-1. Yeah, you heard it. 16-1
What?
demolition job. Yeah, we slapped the shit out of this team on Saturday, man. I tell you, man, we were 9-0 up in the first half. I just said to the team, we've been on the end. I'm on I took some batterings last season.
Yeah.
So I said, don't let up. Just keep going. We showed them the respect that they deserved and scored another 8. Oh,
Wow.
Another 7. So yeah, I'm delighted. I've been on cloud nine all weekend. The Man United result, as I said, it pisses me off, but I can't control that.
16-1.
16-1.
What was their goal like then? Let's talk about their goal.
It was, to be fair, it was a well-worked goal and a good finish. So there wasn't nothing the goalie could have done.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that could have been stopped. They kept the ball on the floor, 4 or 5 passes, got the ball in round the back, crossed it, and nodded it in. So it wasn't a goal. Say, could it have been stopped? Who knows? I don't know if it could have been stopped or not. We would have liked to get the clean sheet, but I'll be honest, man, to score that amount. My nephew scored 6. Stoney's son scored 6.
Wow.
And got 4 assists in the game, so you know he got man of the match.
Wow.
So yeah, he don't pay no subs next week. So yeah, it's been a very, very good week for me.
Did they celebrate their goal?
They celebrated every single one of them.
No,
Even
the opposition.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They were already 12. They were already 12-0 down in it. They kicked it, and we took it back from the day. There was nothing. There was no emotion. There was no noise. There was no celebration. There was nothing. It was just as normal. Just like the ball went out for a throw-in. It was beautiful. But on Monday, come on now. You see, you might have got. Come on, I want to hear your one now.
All right, 16 is massive. And when I heard that, I was just like, wow. I mean, this is outrageous, isn't it? It's the sort of game where the opposition would probably cry. They might have a tear in their eye. It's just despair, isn't it? Anyway, we played our second league game. We lost the first one 2-0 against a team that we were battling for the title with. And we won 13-1. But they only had 10 men. So here's a couple of talking points. They only had 10 men. And they had 16 on the morning, but only 10 turned up to the ground, So really bad by their club, They should really sort it out, and they let a lot of people down. And then we had 18 or 19 players, so we whooped them badly. And they scored a goal. It was a mistake. The ball came over. Our midfielder headed it, not forwards, but backwards. And the guy was offside, but it wasn't until he headed it, and he ran through and scored to make it 1-1. And then we just went on a rampage. Talking points. They had 10 men. They were sort of really, struggling out there. We were just walking the ball into the net. Got to the point at halftime. I said, look, guys, no more just showboating. Just play football. Just work on things that we need to work on here. And they didn't. Sarab and these guys came on and started dribbling through the whole team like Pele and scoring goals from showboating. I didn't like it. But then there's talking point that comes when they asked if 2 of our players could line up for them. And I said, out of principle, no. And
Did you?
Yeah, I said no. I didn't want them to, because the 2 players they wanted were 2 players who came down to watch us to maybe join us. I just said, so it's a principle for me was, you need to sort your own team out. I'm out here to get as many points and goals as I can. And they were pissed off. They were really pissed off with me. One of the guys refused to shake my hand after the game. He said, no, you're out of order. Why can't you do the thing? But if imagine there's a booking or a broken leg or something, you're going to have to...
I get it.
You see what I'm saying? Admin's going to have a nightmare. But I felt initially, I'm like, maybe. But then I thought, nah, that's the principle. We work hard to get our team there on time and to get the numbers there as well. They need to. We're playing them again next week, but they need to sort it out and get the full squad there. So I said no. I got a lot of stick from it from their players and even my players as well. They were saying, "No, we're 7-0 up. Why were you, or whatever, 7-1 up? Why can't you just let these guys play?" I was like, "Nah, it's the principle. Simple as that."
Fair enough.
So 13-1, bath time. Over to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
I thought the most heroic 1-1 draw you'll ever see against bigger boys on Monday. They were fucking massive, these bastards, and they beat me up all match, and I can barely walk, and I did it all for a point. And it was also an away game, and I hate away games because I get stressed about what time I'm going to have my meal beforehand. Like, what do you have for your pre-game meal?
Well,
Wenzel's
what do you
What's
have?
that?
donuts.
Oh, a
Yeah,
donut.
I'm cake mad. I eat anything with sugar on. I'll eat, bruv. That's me. I've got a bad sweet tooth. That's why I haven't got any.
I think
That's-
when you're starting early in the morning, sometimes you get nerves and all that. So mostly just a banana or maybe just a little sandwich or a bit of sardines on toast before the game, like a couple hours before kickoff. That's what I would do, and then drink lots of water. What about you?
Yeah, very similar. I have a banana and honey sandwich, 3 hours before the game, and then I have a slim fast afterwards to replenish. Which I learnt from a US Marine. He said that when they
Slim
would,
fast.
yeah, slim fast, really good for getting all the stuff that you need back in your body. A US Marine told me that after they did their Marine stuff and running about, they would have slim fast or whatever. So I've been doing that for about 10 years. All right.
Bath time. Can I just say, it sounds like that result was a good result. Getting a draw against a top team like that. Fair play to you, even though you're bruised and battered. I mean, you obviously could put a shift in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I look like a barcode today. Just I just got one side of my body. I look like a zebra, like that United kit from last season. But anyway, should we do some comments?
Yeah, why not? Everyone's in the house today. First of all, it was Solo. Solo's come in. He said big up. He's given us a love heart and a fist. Big up to you, Solo, by the way. Big up to Eddie Football Waffle. Go and subscribe to his channel. Says press the like button. Thank you. Big T's in the house as well. Saying big up to everybody. Stephanie Griffiths, how you doing? Saying hi to everyone in the panel and on the show, in the comments as well. Well done for mentioning Mr. B and the Monday. It's important we don't forget our viewers, says Stephanie. Says Big T to Stephanie. We've got Matthew Bassett in the house as well. Big up to everyone on the show. Wonder how you got on the weekend, Matthew Bassett. I know you play football as well. Bart saying here, hello, Dutch managers of United always appear to struggle against Premier League teams with Evian nicknames. Ben Howe never beat Swansea. Ten Hag lost to Brighton and Palace. Avian nickname.
It means bird-like.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm learning something every day. Brilliant. Big T saying De Gea would have saved it, Big Mr. B. Talking about the goal you conceded. I would have celebrated that goal, says Andrew Herbert. Bart again saying De Gea may have saved it, but his feet movement was suspect towards the end of his Premier League career. Also, half the league knows that if you shoot before he gets in position, it's 9 out of 10 is a goal. Big up to Jeff. He's in the house as well. They will get over it, says Jeff, talking about the whooped opposition that we played at the weekend. Emma's saying here, you can't risk your players for another team. What the hell? I'm glad you agree with me. I wish you were there to argue with these guys because they wouldn't give it up. Big P saying here, remember to tell you about Wolves, Mr. B, ?
Yes, you did.
Big up to Bath Time, says Stephanie Griffiths. Jeff saying here, we hate away games. Anthony saying, Bath Time should retire and play Timmy the Winks.
Oi!
Steak and pasta. I don't know, it's too early for steak and pasta in the morning, maybe an afternoon game. Stephanie saying here, Homer settings, Mr. B with donuts. 4 hours before. Okay, there you go. Here we go. Slim Fast was full of sugar last time I looked, said Big T. Protein shake after the game. Big up to Christine Howley. How you doing, Christine Howley? Nice to have you tuned in. And again, Jeff saying here, Big T, he took advice from a Marine. So I do BCAA in a protein shake after the match and a banana. So lots of tips there for a bit of a rehydration and a bit of energy for after the game.
Right. Squad news, boys. So we've got a couple of familiar faces back. Kobe Mainu has been pictured training with the full team, which is
Woo! Can we
I
just
know.
take some time to say, welcome back, Kobe? Wow, that's good news.
I know. No, I don't think there's been a player that's ever made such an impact in a pre-season game as Kobe Mainu. The way that we talk about him as the saviour.
5 minutes he played. 5 minutes he played pre-season.
Help beat Arsenal.
Yeah, that was good. We've also got Antony back in full training, and he's available. Ten Hag said he will be considered for selection for tomorrow's game, which is an interesting one. But we have injuries with Martinez, where news has come out that Martinez will need another operation. We're looking at maybe 2 months out. And that he was playing on painkillers against Brighton and Arsenal, and we've now lost him for 2 months. So thoughts on that, gentlemen?
I don't get it. If a player's not fit, a player's not fit. I understand the right, he'll play through the pain, but it sounds like he's broken his foot again. So surely they would have advised him not to have played him, even with painkillers. So I don't get it. I understand. Yeah, we needed him. Blah blah blah. But what position are we in now? You know, we're praying that our defender doesn't get injured again, so Maguire doesn't have to start. That's the stage that we're at. So I'm not really impressed by it. But I know these things happen. Back in the day, it was them. What's that? Cortisone injections they used to take in their legs, and now half of them can't even walk, and their knees are all gammy and stuff. But look, people do things to get through games. I'm sure Monday and bath time you've done stuff to get through your Saturday game that maybe you shouldn't have done. There's a lot of stuff that I know I've done. So you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's another injury on top of all of the injuries that we've got. So look, hopefully he comes back and he's not rushed back this time, and he's not forced to play under duress.
Do you remember when Rooney, first time I heard about metatarsal injuries was Rooney? And I think it's obviously must have happened for years, these injuries, but I think with the boots they have these days and with hardly any sort of protection. When I was playing, I used to play like old school boots, which was just like I could toe punt the ball and, you know, I felt padded, you know, I was well protected. But the metatarsal area is quite sensitive. And remember when Rooney got the injury and we rushed him back, wanted him to see him play.
Beckham, wasn't it?
Was it Beckham?
Yeah, Beckham first. Rooney did his ones afterwards, but Beckham was the first one.
That would have been years ago then, before Rooney's then. I remember one of these top players, like Rooney or Beckham, whoever it was, coming back and we're trying to, you know, it's hard injury to sort of recover from. I think when you start to talk about giving injections, there's a few comments here that we need to sort of touch on about this, because the guys in the comments know what they're talking about, saying, have we spoken about the manager ruining Martinez by playing him injured on painkillers? He selected him, has to be on him, on the manager. And Emma's saying here that Big T responds to Big T, but why are doctors allowing him to play? It mustn't have been that bad since they did it. Or something there. Oh, and Jeff saying here, I would love to come on and talk about metatarsal injuries. And it's why I've been off referring for 18 months and just got the clear to jog. Oh, well, there you go, 18 months out. Okay, so here we go. You're right, guys. Beckham had a metatarsal injury before Rooney, and they kind of rushed him back as well. Big up to Damien Walsh, Drayton Manor forever for life, and R.I.P. Derek Vernal. What a shock that was. I don't know if you know him, Damien, but it was a year. He would be 48 now, 49. Yeah, really shocking. He had a heart attack recently, so R.I.P. to Derek from Drayton Manor High School. Yeah, what do you think, Bath Time? I'm sorry, let me just finish. I don't think it's right. You don't look. We've got other players there. Let's play the other players. Don't risk it, especially with a sensitive injury like that. We should know better.
Yeah, I also think that the Argentine national squad should know better as well. Like against, I think it was Arsenal he came off. Yeah, it was, because we had Evans and Maguire on at the end, and then he flew. Then he flew to like Buenos Aires and was training out there and stuff. I think that Martinez might have been a bit of thinking he was being a bit of a warrior, and trying to get through it, like how he sees himself and stuff. When it's really clear that injury was misdiagnosed or underestimated or whatever, and it's poor from United and from Argentina. We need to be looking after our players better. It's the same as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He was told, Ten Hag was told, he's in danger of getting more injured. And we bring him on against Brighton with nothing to fight for, nothing to do, and he's out for 2 months as well. God knows what's happening with Malacia. God knows what's happening with Shaw. And I'm not sure what other injuries there are. Like, let's all pray Eriksen's okay. But yeah, our squad is pretty threadbare at the moment, and we're putting a lot of hope on Højlund and Martial to sort of stay fit, and they've got a track record of not being fit. So it's exciting times, gentlemen. So that's the squad news, really. But now it's time for the highlight of the week. It's the solo 11.
What is a solo 11?
So, what do you mean? What you're seeing on the screen, or the ontological part of the solo 11?
B. Ontological.
He said B.
For those who don't know.
Okay, the solo 11 law is that our founder, the departed Solo, every week would come in with a team that was borderline genius, but almost certainly insanity most of the time. And to this day, we honour his legacy by phoning him up and asking who's going to play. And then we stick it up on the screen. So this is one of the greats of the United agenda. That's the solo. Unless, have I missed something out there, Ramonde? Is there any more?
No, that's perfectly right. Perfectly right. We have to keep his name alive on this channel. Solo 11. There you go.
Okay, gents. So Solo has gone for Onana in goal. And today in Ten Hag's press conference, he mentioned that the other keeper, Bayinde, wasn't selected against Crystal Palace in the Cup because they felt Onana needed more experience of English football, but expect to see Bayinde soon. So, do you think that a change of goalkeeper might be what we see on tomorrow night?
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. He's playing.
No chance.
No, Onana's playing tomorrow.
Okay. I don't think that anyone will have issues with Varandolo and Amrabat, as there's no one else really, is there? But Amonde, I can see the lanky figure of Johnny Evans there.
Interesting, that, isn't it? I don't know about Solo, but I would play Harry Maguire. Reasons being, he's got form. He's played Champions League more recently than Johnny Evans. He's an England international playing high level. I don't know how many times I have to repeat this over and over again. Back in the day, he was ahead of Lindelof when those two were there. And he was clearly ahead of Evans over the last few years. Evans is older, playing at a lesser team at Leicester, who ended up getting relegated. So it has to be Maguire. I can't make a case for Evans at all. No matter regardless. We want to win this game. We want to play our strongest back four. Harry Maguire, with the absence of Lindelof being, because he's poor form at the moment, with the absence of Martinez with his metatarsal, it has to be Harry Maguire. I don't know how Solo can put the lanky, as he said, Johnny Evans in this team ahead of Harry Maguire. And if Harry Maguire doesn't play tomorrow, I will say the manager, I wasn't sure before, has a serious agenda about him, doesn't rate him, even though he's come out in the press conference and said something different. Said, oh, he's a good player, he's a great player, this kind of thing. There's got to be something else going on.
One day. You know Ten Hag don't rate him. You know he doesn't rate him.
Yeah, but he's come out and said he's had a great career, he's going to have a great future, that kind of thing, saying he's a good player. I just feel, for me, this is like crunch time for me. If Harry Maguire doesn't play tomorrow,
Ten Hag out?
Say?
Are you Ten Hag out if Maguire doesn't start tomorrow?
If I'm saying Harry Maguire, you've got to go and speak to the manager. And say,
he won't go.
if Johnny Evans goes in, right, put it this way: if Johnny Evans and Lindelof play ahead of Harry Maguire with everything that's going on right now, I'm just like, nah. Harry Maguire, what we proved the other day with the ball getting played across 6-yard box for Crystal Palace to score, that's Harry Maguire's bread and butter. He will eat that up, you know. So if I can see it, if everyone else can see it, it's time the manager said, look, I know I've started a set precedent by not playing him. I've got to play him and let him prove himself, like he said in the press conference. And by the way, big up to the manager for actually answering the question about Onana as to why he chose to play him when we got another goalkeeper in. I like the answer to that, and I think that's an honest answer as well about giving him more time and experience. Because you can't really shuffle the goalkeepers too much. But as for the defence there, I would play Harry Maguire, and the rest I would keep the same.
All right, Mr. B, you heard what I think is quite a convincing argument from Amonde, that Champions League experience from Maguire. Are you swayed by these arguments, or is it no Maguire, never again?
I love the fact that Amonde keeps backing Maguire, but I would be siding with Ten Hag and Solo. I'm not a Maguire fan. Maybe Evans will play and absolutely stink the place out, but I would be playing Evans over Maguire. I just think Maguire said he hasn't, to be fair, the last couple of games he hasn't done too bad, but what's not too bad? Not making a mistake. So I would rather play Evans tomorrow. And
we all agree Lindelof has to be taken out after his performances. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Amonde,
let's look at... What about you?
Oh,
sorry.
Me? I'd play Maguire. Okay. Simply because Evans and Varane haven't played much together. So there's not the relationship that you think Maguire and Varane will have. Maguire is... The thing is Evans did well when he came in, but it does come down to Champions League experience for me. Like, when was the last time Johnny Evans played European football? Must have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Football's football, though, no?
Well, I mean, maybe, but we always talk about how we want players with like Premier League experience or Champions League experience, and that's what you've got with Maguire. You do have European football experience, and he's got to a final like in European football, so he's not the worst person to bring in. But
sorry, before we move on, just a couple of things from the comments. Big T saying, did you hear about the club are growing tired of Onana and then looking to bring in the Atletico Madrid keeper? We've got Jeff saying here we'd play a back three with Ram, Maguire and Evans. Big up to Cosman. Haven't seen him for a long time. He says, long time, lads. How you doing? And big up to Stuart Marshall as well. Haven't seen you for a long time. And he's saying here, if anyone wants a free ticket to the game tomorrow, hit him up.
He's had enough.
Yeah. Maybe can't make it, but Emma's saying here, Champions League experience for Maguire, ? Varane has got more than all the others combined. Yeah, but we're comparing Maguire and Evans, who hasn't played top flight football for a long time and has got his team relegated. Maguire has to play for me. Jeff saying here, Dalot and Amrabat are already playing wing backs. Why not solidify the defence? And Big T saying here, we are missing our captain, third and a trophy when Maguire was captain. There you go. Big T, speaking my language.
Yeah, all right. Midfield trio. Solo's gone for Magebri, Casemiro and Bruno. Amonde, we'll start with you. Not allowed to mention Maguire in this section. Are you happy? Are you happy with what you're seeing there?
All right. So with availability, what we know, it's the only I would go with Casemiro and Bruno. They would have to play. Then you got an option here because you got Mason Mount, but he's in the squad already. He's playing right wing. You got Mason Mount. You got Hannibal. You got McTominay. You got Eriksen. Tomorrow I'd be playing Eriksen instead of Hannibal. The reason why I think Eriksen's got experience. He will give us more control. It's not going to be physicality, running up and down, that kind of thing you expect against Galatasaray, who play in the heat of Turkey week in, week out. They play a different brand of football, slow, quick, as they do on the continent, And that's where you need some more experience on the pitch and people that. Let's get some domination. Let's get people on the ball. Or are we just going to try and play, the post-Dark Ages football where we impose our game on European teams by being physical on them. I think we've got the talent in this side, with Eriksen in it especially, to really create and dominate the game. I play Eriksen instead of Hannibal, and the other two would remain the same.
Mr. B, thoughts?
I'm not having Eriksen in the team over Hannibal. I think we would have enough control with Bruno and Casemiro playing. I think after the performances that the energy levels and control that Hannibal showed in the games that he's played in, I think it's not saying it's a no-brainer, but I would be having Hannibal in my starting team just because of the ground that he covers. Yeah, I would be playing Hannibal. I wouldn't be playing Eriksen. I'll be Eriksen right now. Is Eriksen behind Mount in the pecking order for that central midfield position?
I think so.
Yeah, I really think that he's definitely behind Mount, and obviously he spent a lot of money on Mount, so Mount would be ahead of Hannibal. But I just feel for this game especially, I think we need Hannibal to be playing.
Okay.
What do you think, your midfielder?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this then?
Mount, it was our marquee signing. He's been brought to play as a free 8. I think that if he's available, Bruno's available, and Casemiro's available, that will be Ten Hag's ideal midfield 3. And I think that Mount was one of our better performers at the weekend. I think it was really just him, Delo, and Varane that I thought were all right. So I would think that with us winning the ball high up the pitch, so on and so forth, I think he'll put Mount in instead of Mabry. I would personally, I wouldn't mind see Casemiro come out for one of these games, and Mainu, Dangor, Eriksen, McTominay, one of them can go and fill that in. I think that I'd like to see a more mobile number 6 with the way that we're playing. But Casemiro, I mean,
not Scott.
Well, I mean, it could be McTominay, but McTominay is an 8 now. He's not. We're not going to see McTominay play as a 6 unless there's an injury.
He's a sub. He's a sub now.
Yeah. Like McTominay's got a lot of good stuff to his game, but the way that we play and the style that we play, McTominay isn't suited to it anymore. He's about attacking space in the final third and defending space in our box. And so he's a squad player for special times. But no, I don't think that Scott will come in. But we've also got the front 3 here. Amonde, are you going with this? Do you think this is our best front 3, or will we see the return of a Brazilian?
Yeah, I've heard rumours that Antony might play. So I was talking about Mount. Mount has to play if he's available for this game. Like you said, we did buy him for a big price, and he's got the experience. He actually assisted a Champions League final goal. He's got a Champions League final. He's a Champions League winner. If you're playing him on the right instead of Antony, fair enough, I can go with that. Otherwise, you're playing Fred instead of Eriksen, maybe. But with this, what Solo's gone with, you can understand why he's put Mount there, because he has to play and you have to fit him in. On the left, they've gone with Rashford. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of issues with Rashford. We've spoken this about him on the channel, but I would still start with him. I would still go with that. I remember Fenerbahce, he likes Turkish. He scored that's Rooney wasn't scored a hat-trick against Fenerbahce on his debut. But I think Rashford will do well to play, and he'd be gutted if he doesn't start. He's got to turn this around. Bruno has to play, and I would start with the Dane up front. I think he needs that experience and that confidence. Start him in the Champions League game and start getting. I think we're going to rump them tomorrow. Rump them, is that the right word?
No.
I don't think it was.
I'm thinking about something else. I hope it's gonna be a rout. Is that the right word?
Yes.
A goal rout tomorrow, and I think you got to give these guys confidence. Martial on the bench, the Dane, Rasmus up front, Rashford on the left, and Mount. I would start with Mount and bring Antony on because it's a home game, obviously. But I heard he's available again, and he does need minutes, so maybe Antony can come on later in the game. So I'm cool with that.
Mr. B, you're well known as the Marcus Rashford Defence League. Are you happy to see him starting on the left wing?
I
Ooh.
am. I look. I'm not blind. I am up. Yeah, I am. I'm just about. I'm just about on still on Marcus's in Marcus's corner. I don't think Ten Hag is going to be brave enough's probably not the word, but Rashford is still a better player than Garnacho. Form wise at the moment, he's probably one of the worst. But there seems to be a lot of pressure on Rashford to be the one to score the rest of the goals when there's still a lot of other players on the pitch. So last season he was the one who carried the team. This season, obviously, he looks like he's fallen off a cliff, and his confidence is suffering. But I think he'll get through it, and I think he will be starting tomorrow. Whether he gets dragged off, I can't say to you that he's not going to get dragged off tomorrow. Because obviously you've got the Garnett, you've got the Sancho Slayer, they're waiting in the wings. But I'm going with I would be going with Rashford. Højlund, obviously, I think is a no-brainer. He's going to start, and obviously with Hannibal playing centre of the park, it would be Mount on the right. I'm more thinking about that left-hand side for Galatasaray as well with
Angelino, Zaha.
yeah, and Zaha. Yeah, I think we're going to need. I mean, the thing is, Antony's very disciplined. Defensively, he does track back a lot, so I could see Antony playing. But I think we need to worry about the left hand side for Galatasaray.
I think that's a really, really good point, and that informs my team selection, which is that if I were managing, I would have Mount in the midfield. I would stick with Marcus at left wing because I think he is still the best that we have, and like you can't improve your decision making without playing games. I know we haven't seen that for a while, but the pressure's on, and Ten Hag and his teammates will have taught him a new one in the last couple of weeks. So I think you've got to let him get out there and swap his mistakes. I'd definitely play Højlund, but at right wing, I'm playing Anthony Martial
I
because
think he's going to do the work.
he has proven many times. I know he's got this reputation of being lazy. Under Solskjaer, when we used to play Liverpool, Martial used to go left wing to deal with Robertson. Martial has been trusted a lot in the past at doing defensive work on the wings. It's always been on the left wing, but I would put Martial on the right wing. I think that he's a good dribbler. I think that he has the work rate and the intelligence, and I think that he'll also pass the ball. I think you'll get crosses from Martial and see him taking his man on.
Can I ask you? Wouldn't you be worried that we could lose Martial and Højlund?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the injuries with Martial. Maybe if we knew that he was able to play the games, I'm still convinced he's going to get injured. He's going to get injured 2 or 3 times again before the end of the season. And I think playing him would just be pushing him. Him at the moment, coming on, doing these cameo roles, playing well, and doing better than he was doing last season, is probably more give him a little bit more confidence. I just don't think he's ready to start in that position. I think it's going to be too much running for him.
All of these are like valid points, and I'm not saying let's just play these players till we break them, the way that like Ten Hag is. But I don't think that Antony is ready to come into the starting lineup. I don't think Palestri has done enough to keep his place. Garnacho is left wing, right? We saw when he came on, we saw Rashford go out to the right wing at the weekend, and then he got hauled off straight within 10 minutes because he was pissing about. In terms of the fact that I agree with you, the left-hand side of Galatasaray is where the problems are. The only forward that I know that will go and double up on his man is Martial, and he. If you think back to, I think it might have been Sevilla, we once played Eriksen, Fred, McTominay, Sancho, Ronaldo, and Martial. and Martial was out on the right wing, and he did his work all match. It was a Carrick match, and it was really impressive. So I don't think we're going to see Martial at right wing, but that's what I would pick.
Just quickly, the comments saying we can definitely beat Galatasaray at home. They only drew Copenhagen because they went down to 10 men. That's from Emma. I personally think Ten Hag's terrified of completely losing the dressing room. He ain't got the balls to bench the big names, as we were suggesting earlier. Jeff saying here, if Icardi is interested in the match, he can shred us. Obviously, the Italian Icardi's over there. Stuart Marshall saying, people saying Bruno should be dropped. He's laughing. He's saying Martial needs to go. He makes Weghorst look like keep in mind, Stuart goes to the home games, doesn't he? He goes to a lot of games. Big T saying here, Champions League is a big game. Will we see much of Bruno? So there's a question mark about big game player, clutch player Bruno. Can he do it in the big games? Jeff is saying here, I know Stuart, lots of Bruno haters around these days, so he agrees with Stuart. Garnacho starts 100%, says Stuart Marshall. What do you think about that? Garnacho starting 100% and Rashford to cut as an impact player instead.
We've seen it before in Champions League. Was it one of the Red Bull clubs where Rashford came on and got a hat-trick in about 10 minutes? I think that Ten Hag will be extremely brave to drop Rashford in the Champions League. It's the biggest, it's the peak of football. Last time Rashford was in it, he was in with a shout of getting top scorer, despite us going out in the first round. Rashford's not happy at the moment and needs to be managed, and I think he'll go apeshit if he's dropped for a Champions League match. That's just where we are with Marcus Rashford at the moment.
Just big up to Hydro as well. He said good evening, and Geordie as well coming in late. How you doing, Geordie? You got a Champions League game as well in a tough group. You're playing PSG at home. So Newcastle PSG. What a game that would be.
I think Newcastle are going to dick him.
I haven't seen the new PSG now since it got rid of Messi and Neymar, but St James's Park on a European night is not somewhere you want to be. Okay, so now I press this, don't I? Yo, look at that. Score predictions. Okay, so in chat, hit the like button or whatever, and then put your score prediction in. And while Mr. B agonises, we'll go to Amonde. And I've got a feeling I know what the score prediction will be.
I'm going to say it's going to be 5-0 to Man United. There's something about English clubs or English teams against Turkish. I remember it was 1988 and England played Turkey. John Barnes, Peter Beardsley, that's what he had, Lineker. They beat them 8-0. 8-0. It's a long time ago. But then since then, we've seen Arsenal get beat by Galatasaray in the final. We've seen the Galatasaray rough us up with Hakan Suker, with Cantona going to that ground. So Turkish football's come on leaps and bounds. But I've got a feeling tomorrow, with everything that we've been through, losing at home to Palace, I think there's only one solution, and that is to get your hand like that, 5 fingers. What does 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. Slap Turkey and slap Galatasaray and tell them welcome to hell, because we're going through it right now. So that's why we have to beat them by a lot of goals, and I think we will do it. I think because we've been up against Premier League teams, it's tough, it's hard work. The Premiership's like up there. I'm not disrespecting Turkish football, but I think they're coming here thinking, "Are we going to get a point?" They're weak at the moment. Maybe we can, but they're going to be naive. They're full of stars, Icardi and Saha, for example. But I just think these guys are there. When you go to Turkey, you're going there to relax, put your feet up, play in the sunshine, play that sort of football. You lose something. As bath time, you were talking before about your fitness levels going down based on they can go there super fit, Premiership fit, or a Serie A fit. But once you start playing to that standard, you sort of lose your fitness and you play to the standard of the league that you're playing in. And I think you get a wake-up call. This is why Turkish sides, as good as they are, they might appear with the names, they're never going to really win anything in the Champions League based on that as well. So I think they're cruising for a bruising, and Man United are going to slap them 5-0.
Have you got something less insane for me, Mr. B?
Yeah, I've got a lot less insane. I'm actually my heart is telling me 2-1, but I can see 1-1 and us fuming tomorrow. So I'm actually gonna go 1-1. I'm worried about the form. I mean, question. We've had a lot of possession in the last two games. 69% and whatever, it's 77%. Do you think that what do you think the issue is? We wanted us to control the football. We're now controlling the football. What do you think that what is the what when we had 19 chances on Saturday and 4 on target? Is it a finishing thing? Is it a chance creation thing? What do you think the problem is, guys?
I think that the problem for me is that we did actually quite a level reaction show afterwards, myself, Dora, and Amonde, and we found a pass map from what was going on in the game, and like Palace were playing like a mid block and a low block, and they were doing it extremely well. And there are three ways to beat a block: you go around it, you go through it, or you go over it. United were absolutely terrible at moving that block. So the ball was just being passed in front of the block most of the times. We weren't moving it, and then we were hoping for magic from Rashford, to be honest, to move past it. So I think that there's two things that are going on at the moment. Is that the team just aren't linking up in the final third, because I'm seeing players in really good positions. Mount and Bruno in particular are working the channels really, really well, but they're not being released into them. And the other thing is that the key areas that we need to access, like the places where you put cutbacks in, the half space, the edge of the box, we're not good enough on the ball to manipulate a block and get in those positions. So you can have all the possession you want in the world, but the possession is just going from side to side. We need to start manipulating blocks, and we can do that by either playing slower at the back and trying to tempt them, which, to be honest, in the Premier League, you won't get teams that stupid. But you might. But Galatasaray might be someone you can bait into a trap. Or we're going to have to start getting our technical players like Bruno, Mount, and Ericsson on the ball in between the lines, and that means being a bit braver and having more movement and work rate from our wide players. Because I do genuinely think we're not too far off what Ten Hag wants. It's just the key moments, the ones that take you from being a good player to an elite player. It's just not clicking at the moment, and this is what I think. This is why the frustration has grown with Rashford and with Bruno, is that when we work ourselves to those positions, they F it up. Like, they get it wrong, they mess it up, they don't execute it properly, and on the occasions we do execute it properly, Højlund's not scoring chances he should be scoring. Like, so I think that, I don't want to say this, but I think Ten Hag just needs a bit more time, and the players just need a bit more time, because they're not that far off it. Like, they're close to what they're trying to do, I think. Amonde, is that nonsense?
No, you're right. You just explained it well. I just want to go for some score lines because they're piling in. DM Vlogs, how you doing? Says 3-1 Man United. Geordie says 3-1 to United. We got Hydro saying 4-1 United. We can dream. Emma saying here 4-1 with a good performance, and we are going to be shit in our next game. Big T saying 3-0 to Galatasaray. Ooh, that wouldn't be nice. We're not getting 5 goals on Monday. We are shocking, says Stuart Marshall. And 2-1. We're that bad, we're going to lose. We're going to win 2-1. It's from Stuart Marshall. 1-1 says Andy Herbert. And Hydro saying, shout at football, but they make a nice kebab, talking about Turkey. Big T saying here, more chance of 5 own goals than 5 goals in this against this opposition. And Emma's saying here, I hope this is a second season syndrome with no concrete goal scores, so we can come banging next season, sorry. And any more score lines? No.
Be there that long.
He's lost the dressing room. See, look, Stuart Marshall, I haven't seen him for a while, but it just brings a fresh perspective about how he feels. He goes to the game. He's obviously, when you're at the game, you've got everyone bickering around you, and you get a feel for what's really going on. We're not there. So sometimes when you're at the stadium, you can really feel the tension how the fans are feeling. So I'd like to get good perspective from Stuart Marshall, and he's saying he's lost the dressing room, worst start for 33 years. Rashford's getting pelters as well, and he doesn't think we can win, or he thinks we can just about scrape a 2-1 win. So that's how it feels from the fans at the stadium.
Yeah, I'd be quite interested, Stuart, if you think, like, we're obviously getting boos from the crowd, which, in my view, are completely deserved. Are those boos for Ten Hag, or are they for the players? Like, what's the sort of general, when you're chatting to the guys around you at the ground that you know, what are the vibes? What are people saying? Okay, and we do have one more thing, which is that the United Agenda is looking for some help on a couple of things, and we'd like to ask you guys if you could possibly help us out. There's a couple of roles that we need some help filling. One of them is on camera, which is for watch-alongs on a Saturday. You would need to have access to 3 p.m. games, how you do it, whatever. And you need to be able to read and not go mental at people in the comments. That's literally all you need to do. So if you're interested in being on camera, we'd love to hear you. Secondly, we need some help with thumbnails and graphic design. We need some help with running our social medias, which basically is just putting out some stuff on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's not hard, but I'm not allowed on Instagram. Mr. B doesn't know how to use Instagram, and a Monday is a Monday. He'd just start fighting with people, so we can't trust him with the socials. And we could also do with someone to help us set up and schedule shows. So if you can do any of those things, or you're interested, let me just get rid of this comment here. Right, I thought I'd put my Twitter address there, but I haven't. Well, I have, but it's not showing it. I don't know. Right, this is why we need help, lads. We're an absolute disaster at times doing this. But talk to the Man United Agenda. Tell us in comments, etc. Because this is your channel. This is a community, and we're asking you to come and help us make this a better community and a more inclusive one. And Jeff, if you could check your DMs, please. So yeah, anything else that you need help with, Monday or Mr. B?
Yeah, we just need some people to come out, especially with the social media side of things, to engage and put things out there. Once the show's set up, post it, get people on side. As you do, build that community. We've been a bit slack since Solo's left. We haven't really been. Solo was really good at networking, so we need people like that who are good at networking, good at communicating, and good at representing and selling the product, which is the Man United Agenda. And we've really got slack with that lately, and it does help when we're very like a bumblebee buzzing around Twitter and getting to know people. I don't use to. People might ask why I don't do it, because I don't use Twitter. I never have. I only got it just for Man United Agenda, and I just find it so difficult to go on there and navigate around. It's too difficult for me. So someone young, enthusiastic, if you're keen to help us out, obviously we do this voluntarily, but the perks are you get to meet wonderful people like ourselves. And you have a seat at my dinner table. If you're ever in London, you're always welcome to come round, meet my dogs, meet Mr. No, I'm not talking about Mr. B. I'm talking about my dog, and not these two, Darius and Mr. B. They're my dogs too.
Cheers. So we'll be asking. You've got a DM from me, Jeff. I was wondering if you could send in videos of what you think about decisions in games that we can play, because you're not always in chat and you're a qualified ref. So I think that would be, like, for example, why was that not a handball when the ball got played over the top of Rashford and hit that guy's hand? I've got no idea, but you do. So get in touch if you can help. We'll be asking all week, and I hope it doesn't get too boring. But we really miss Solo and all the work he did, and it's time for us to get our act together and deliver the shows that you deserve.
Just a couple of things here. DM Vlogs saying he can do 3 p.m. Also saying I'm free for shows. Also, Stuart Marshall wants to come back. He's free tomorrow night after the game to do a show as well. Across the pond, very busy man. Said I do 3 p.m.s, UK kickoffs, matches over here for anyone. Gold Rush match of the day, match day live for all the 3 p.m. UK kickoff, which is 8 a.m. over there in the States. So yeah, already we've got some responses, which is really positive, guys.
Yeah, so please send it in to the Man United Agenda Twitter, which is at MU Agenda, I think, and we'll go from there. But we're really delighted to have any of you on. A lot of these things aren't difficult, but I don't have the time, and I think that's true for Mr. B and Amonde as well. So yeah, I mean, unless you love any other business, Amonde. Have you got any other business?
Well, just saying, there's quite a few responses here. Big T as well, saying he's got loads of time in his hands. Just message us if you can, guys, if you want to come in. Any other business. There was news, obviously, about Antony was at the stadium the other day, and he brought his girlfriend and son and the child as well. And it was said in the comments that maybe to sort of stop people giving him abuse. It's always better when you're with someone. And then also, Emma saying here, Jeff, you can talk shit about your colleagues, no shame in that you have different opinions as well. Talking about opinions, I want to say as well, look, guys, this is what we love about this channel. We love talking to you guys, and we do like bumping heads. This is what happens. I'm always arguing with people every day about football, but all in good spirit, and that's what I love about the Man United Agenda. You guys, we might disagree on certain things, but it's always done with good spirit. And we need some consistency with the staff here, So if someone can come along, you've seen different faces come along over the years, but the three here are consistent. We're regulars, and we do it despite other things going on in our lives as well. So anyone who can really offer their time and energy and join us, that'd be marvelous. Yeah, just message us on Instagram.
Well, Twitter. I'm not allowed on Instagram.
All right, sorry. Message us on Twitter.
The Instagram I'll pick up. The Twitter, I'm sure I can pick up. It's a thing. Yeah, look, if you're interested, you know how to find us. You'll find us, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I'll just stick my Twitter address in the chat, and anyone who's interested, you can find me there. Be warned, it's mainly, no surprise, but it's mainly about Lord of the Rings. My Twitter accounts. But yeah, I've made documents after the Palace game. I got in a right tantrum, and I wrote an hour and a half of all the things that we needed to do on the channel. So it's all broken down. It's really easy. It won't be that difficult, and you get to be involved. Like apart from the watch along, this isn't for like an on-screen contributor. But who knows? Like if you can talk and you can dress yourselves, then there's no reason why you shouldn't come on. So yeah, and as I say, we'll probably be talking about this every show for the next week or two. So the sooner it gets filled up, the sooner we can get back to Amonde saying that it's the end if Harry Maguire doesn't play against Galatasaray.
He's not playing tomorrow. I can't wait to see this team out tomorrow. He's not playing tomorrow.
By the way, guys, I won't be able to watch the game tomorrow. I won't be able to do it after show you, but I've got to go to a police convention about stop and search. And
you're going to a what?
He's doing a joke. I know it. He's using his joke voice.
It's some deadly serious. I'm going to a police convention tomorrow to represent my work and network with the police about stop and search in the area and that kind of thing. So it goes on till 10 p.m. I'm going to miss the game. I don't know why I volunteered to do it on a Champions League night. I must have forgot.
Oh, well, I apologise, Amonde. I thought we were getting a joke out of you there. But don't worry, there will be a reaction show at 10 p.m. I think tomorrow night. And is there a watch along, Mr. B?
Yeah, I will be doing the midweek watch alongs on a problem. It's just that I have other commitments. like slapping out the rest of these other teams every Saturday. So I will be on the watch along tomorrow. We will be doing the reaction show tomorrow, and I will be in contact with anybody who wants to message me. It might not be today, but before the end of the weekend, we'll get the ball rolling on that subject there.
Big up to Big T saying you are the best 2.5 faces on YouTube. Ian Vlog is saying here last time if it says needs to be a subscriber to message you.
I've just changed that, so
okay.
it should be fine now.
And this Saturday, Man United has 3:00 kickoff first on Goal Rush. If Wish combine
watch alongs, we go.
Yeah, so we need to cut across the pond.
Look, we'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted. Man United,
And
Brentford, yeah, we'll get it sorted.
Stuart, come on tomorrow night. Like if Monday's not here and you're around.
Yeah, I'll deal with Stuart. What's Stuart? Stuart, are you Facebook?
Facebook,
no,
yeah.
Stuart's Facebook. All right, Stuart.
Stop.
I'll deal with I'll deal with you tomorrow. I'll send you the link before our game goes out, and then I'll see you as the game finishes.
There we go. Everyone's volunteering now. Jeff, do a reaction show tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Everyone's talking about reaction shows, but who's talking about making thumbnails and sorting out our social media? That's why the thumbnails.
It's a start. It's a start. It's a start. It's a start. Right, let's get out of here. I need to eat some food.
Yeah.
Okay, good night, everyone. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Glory, glory, Man United.